Hi there, BookTube! Welcome to Novel Niche. My name is Christina and today I'm here with no makeup, just barely awake, even if the light is so strange, but it's actually morning, but it's a foggy / sunny one. Strange. But I'm very homey right now because I want to talk to you about a homey book, the one that made me feel like home in a very strange way and very unique way, and it's my review for my most beloved book and the one that I keep thinking about of 2020. It's true that I read it at the end of 2020, but still it's the best for me. And I'm speaking about Mastering the Art of Soviet Cooking by Anya von Bremzen. So, the very first thing that you need to know is that I discovered about this book thanks to Book Olive, and she's an amazing booktuber. She loves non-fiction and I always refer to her for some amazing recommendations. And she's a lover, fortunately, of Russian culture and Russia in general. So when I heard about this one, I knew that I really wanted it. I bought it last year and I read it. And it was a journey. So we're talking about a non-fiction book. This book is 447 pages long, so it's not too long, but it's not the shortest. It's originally written in English, but it has been translated in several languages, I believe, and in Russian too. So if you're a Russian watcher, then go ahead and read it, because I believe that in Russian it will be a fun experience, because here in the English edition the author puts some Russian words here and there with an explanation or a translation, so it will be fun to read it wholly in Russian. And the reason why this book is originally written in English is because this author currently lives in the United States. But she was born in Russia, or to better put it, in the Soviet Union. And this book is a mix of things. It's a non-fiction that can be classified as a memoir, as a historical book, and for a small part as a cookbook. So it's these three things mixed together. And I'm not a huge cooking person. I'm not very good in the kitchen. Usually it's my boyfriend who cooks. I wash the dishes because I'm very lazy and I'm not that good at cooking, I believe. So he does that part of the job in the house. But when I heard about this title, The Art of Soviet Cooking, I decided that I wanted to pick it up because actually Soviet dishes are the ones to which I'm most attached, because they are part of my childhood. And so some of the recipes, some of the products that I used to eat, and food is actually something very emotional for each and every one of us. And even more so for people who are immigrants and who move from a country to another. That's the reason why it is so important to have in a foreign country have like a market or a shop that sells the products from your country of origin. So like, for example, Asian markets or Russian Eastern markets. It's very important, and I'm one of those people who actually goes there and buy some stuff from there because it makes me feel like home. Even just the fact that in a foreign country there is a person at the cash register who speaks to you in your language of origin, it's so nostalgic and so amazing, and I love doing that. But let's get back to the book, because I can ramble about this book for forever, but I would try to be as concise and as just short and to the point as possible. So in this book we're following the direct experience of Anya von Bremzen, or Bremzen, I don't know. As the story starts, she's already an adult, but the whole framework of this book is that she's already living in America with her mom, and she decides to go through all of the decades of Russia from 1910, I believe, till modern Russia, so 2000, 2010, around those years, I believe. And she wants to go through the decades thanks to food. And so she decides that she wants to cook the specific dishes of a decade in order to travel through time and in order to reflect and think about what was happening to her country during that decade and how what was historically happening was reflected in what people ate and what was available on the table. And I think that it's such a fascinating and such a unique and beautiful way to look at history, because I may admit that the larger picture of history cannot be that much related to food, but when you think about decades, some things in some countries changed so much. And one of the, let's say, one of the peculiar things of Russia is that it's one of those countries that really changed drastically each and every decade because of the different historical things that happened to that country, and even more so for the whole Soviet Union. And there we are speaking about a variety of states that completely changed from the 1910 till 2010. And so going through food is an amazing way, because food and, I believe, like smells and perfumes are the two ways in which our memory really clicks the fastest. When you feel a smell, you can recollect some memories that you forgot for a long time, and the same goes for a dish. When you eat something that you used to eat as a girl or a boy, it immediately brings you back, like it's a time travel, and it's amazing. So what it does here, it's exactly that. It goes and we go again from 1910 till 2010-ish, let's say, thanks to all of the recipes, all of the available food at the market, on the table. But it doesn't do only that. It's not only about food, it's also about a family history, because in order to understand and recollect better, she goes through her family tree. So we start with her grandparents or grandparents, and we arrive till when she's an adult right now and she lives in America. And thanks to that recollection, we also see the evolution and revolution of Russia. So we see how people lived, we see the different social levels, what was going on in poorer houses, what was going on in richer houses, how was it to be Russian, or better, a Soviet person, when the rest of the world were moving on, and after, of course, the Second World War, and we were in that kind of bubble when things were happening at a different rhythm. And it's very beautifully done, in my opinion. Probably it can be confusing for someone if you have no idea of what happened to Russia in the last century, but it is also a great way to approach history, because you see history through the eyes of someone who actually lived those experiences, someone who talks about her mother, her grandparents. So it's more personal, and it's a great way to understand what was going on with the whole country. And I just love this book. I cannot put into words how much I love this book, just because it never happened to me before to read a book with which I resonated so much. Because not only I was born in one of the former Soviet countries, I was born in Latvia, that has a very unique story and history about how it joined, like the Baltic states. They are very unique in the way how they joined the Soviet Union, how they kind of separated from it, what was happening there, and I was born. Plus, I was born in 1991, so it was the year of the independence for Latvia. But what's more important is that not only I understand a lot of the references that she makes and the food she's talking about, some things I literally grew up eating. Then I moved to Ukraine, and that was another state that was part of the Soviet Union for a long time, and that part again had a unique way of looking at what happened to the Soviet Union, as each and every country that was part of the Soviet Union did. But then I moved away and I arrived here in Europe, and I lived for many years here in Italy. And so I am an immigrant, and I know what it means to move away from a country to which you're attached and into a completely different place. Like how foreign it may look, and how food is one of the things to which you can hold dear to your heart, and you try to create that illusion of continuity and to connection with your country. And so it was the first time that I read an experience of an immigrant who moved from a Russianish country, like a Russian-speaking country, or better in this case to say the Soviet Union, to America, and then going back, how she looked when she moved back to the at that point it was still the Soviet Union. When she moved back for a couple of weeks, what it was like, and it was so similar to what I used to feel when we went back to my grandparents or to my father. It was very interesting, unique, and again it resonated so much with me. I'm not used to this kind of experience, and it was a first for me, and I adored it so much. Again, I believe that this book can be read by adults, of course, because there are some recollections of war, of some hard things happening, but it's never gruesome, and some of the things are just historical horrible things that happened, like for example the siege of some cities in Russia, the invasion of the Nazi forces, and a lot of things that are very horrible, historically horrible. But then there are these bright moments and these lovely moments and these childish recollections of hard times that through the eyes of a child don't look like hard, because everything is a game and everything can be turned around to become funny and just an opportunity to live your childhood as a normal child. So this book, I cannot recommend it enough. Both if you are Russian, or if you've lived away from that country and you moved away from that country, or if you've never knew anything about Russia, again, I deeply recommend this book. Of course, it's the experience of one single family, and of a family tree, maybe better. But this is an experience that I believe a lot of people shared in a major or minor part, I don't know, but this is still a story that deserves to be heard and to be read, so I really recommend it. There are some interesting facts, some facts that I didn't knew, because being born in 1991, some things of the most recent history, like the 80s, were a little bit obscure to me, of what happened in Russia during those years, because when you study history you usually stop at around the Cold War, let's say. So it was again very informative and very interesting. So without going further, because I can't speak about this book more and more, I just deeply recommend it to you. I hope that you will read it. I loved it to the point that I actually dog-eared the pages where I want to go back in the future, and I have a lot of those, and I never do something like that to a book, but here I just felt the need to have physically some points to which I may be able to come back in a future reread, because I believe that I will reread this book and I will hold it dear, and it's now one of my favorite books of all time. So If you can, do yourself a favor, read Mastering the Art of Soviet Cooking, a memoir of food, family and longing. And a great description that's back here is actually in 4 words, and it's funny, angry, ingenious and moving. And it's the best way I can describe this book too. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you read it or if you read something similar, maybe for other countries, not for the Soviet Union, but other stories of immigrants. And I will see you very soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye! Ciao!